do you grow fast? How do you do this? How do you be so successful?
Well, you focus on your marriage.
That can be that.
And then
simple.
you focus on your health.
And yourself.
And you focus on yourself.
How do you keep personal issues from coming into your professional life together? So, I mean, we're married, we've got 3 little kids. That comes with its own kind of chaos. And then we work together as well. So this is cool. I'd like to hear it from your side.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wish it was possible. You know best. Like, if that we're having that's why I strive so much for alignment in keeping a strong household. And that's why that's so important to me. And that's why I'm so frustrated if it's not, because it's impossible to show up to work your best self if you're fist to fist, whatever. If you're if you're butting heads with your me and my wife do not get in fist fights, all right? You know, if you're butting heads with your person, you know, it's impossible.
I mean, you say that a lot too, and you've said that for years, that when we're fighting or we've fought the night before, like, and then you go to work, it's like you are just distracted and like you just want to text me and make it right, because you're a problem solver also, so it's like it eats you alive. You just like feel like you're in a funk. And that obviously was so true so much more often when we were really deep and low. But that's not to say that we don't still like have our
we'll have our things where I've upset you, or I feel guilty, or I want us to be, I'm my best self when our energy's all good. But obviously that doesn't always happen. And from a standpoint of like, it was different when I was an employee. You know, I always made the statement as an employee that like I realized no matter what's going on in my personal life, like the world doesn't stop. As a business, and I'm trying to speak to the business owners asking these questions, you know, as a business owner, you've got so much, and I'm not trying to discredit employees, but you just got so much risk and liability on your shoulders that when it doesn't feel like your person understands, it can be really hard to like want to do it, you know?
No, I totally get that. But then also let's think about the people that are like, think about the wife maybe is the office manager or in that administrative position, or the one doing the quotes or the customer service or whatever, that we know is so common in our industry. And then, you know, the husband's also like maybe working in the field doing sales, whatever, where you really are like working side by side. Like we work creatively, like obviously we sit down and do this every week, we have like creative meetings together, but we are very lucky in that sense where I'm not directly involved with client relationships, and I might oversee, like I might like proofread an estimate for you or something. But I think it's nice that we don't have to have that working relationship where we're like in the same office, whatever. But I guess so many people do that's kind of
well, I mean, but the question though is like personal issues creeping into like affecting your work.
See, I think I am very able to shut it off. Like I'm able to say no, like maybe you're annoying me right now, whatever, but it's like, hey, we're here to work. And like my time, you know, like I think that your time spent in the office is so precious, you know, for each of us. It's like, I don't have time, like let's do this at home if we have to.
That's why I don't stop and I want to problem solve. Because my answer to this is I want to be done with it, because we've got too much shit going on in our life to have this feeling linger. So you're talking about like personal things come to work. You like to let things lay and let it settle. I need it to be done so I can be done with it. And maybe this person needs the same thing. So like I know we've talked about that before, and I feel like even that talk has made things better. I think you understand more than ever. I need to be done with it. Like I can't just be like just stopping because we're frustrated with each other and we don't want to talk about it anymore. Like I need some kind of means to an end. And I feel like we have got better at coming to a means to an end, so I don't feel like that happens that much
Exactly. And I think that when we're trying to find an answer to this, it's kind of like we have to dive into who we used to be before we did all the work. Because now it's now that we've each done work on ourselves, we've done work on our relationship, we're always working on these things, it feels a lot different. So maybe that's sort of the light at the end of the tunnel of like we don't really experience those grinds so much, because first of all we don't argue like we used to. We end up laughing, you know, a couple minutes into it, or it's very easy just to come to a resolution because our level of communication is so heightened because of all the work we've done. You know, and that's in therapy, in our own self-development. It's not easy. It's not like, and if you want to work with your spouse and be in the same office with somebody that you're also like live with and married to for 40 hours a week or whatever, while you're building a business and the entire like stakes are on you, that's a lot of pressure, and you have to really be aware of that.
Yeah, and you have to have a solid foundation. Like The times where I felt like I was least capable was when just like this question, there was problems at home, you know? And you look at any great leader or anything, like having an amazing wife or a husband behind you, like that's everything. So I don't think there's this version where it's like, I just don't bring that to work. You know, even you say you can shut it off, but if you were running, if the business was, and the business is yours, but if the business was like you were making every decision of which direction it headed, and me and you never got along, it would eventually just, you wouldn't want to do any of it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what this person's speaking from. So like my best answer is along with what Nicholle just said, is you need to fix it. Like you need to figure out what is going on at home and why is it going on. Like therapy, you know, getting into couples therapy, working on yourself, learning about yourself, having hard discussions. Like it wasn't easy because when me and you used to, you know, be at it with each other over work and things like that, and like when we just didn't communicate as well as we do now, just through things like tools like therapy and learning more, and like even when you didn't want to talk about certain things, me having the communication and the talk with you about like how, like it's not even so much I'm a fixer, I just have to know that this is resolved so I can move on. I'm just not the type of person to walk away from something and it be like still burning.
Like my shut down before it's resolved thing is one thing, other than just like knowing that it's not a very serious thing and we can just let it simmer and we'll be fine. But like I used to be so guilty of just shutting down before there was ever even a conversation. It's like at the height of like getting pissed off. It's like I'm just done, and you know that speaks to like the household I was raised in. That's what you did, and then a few hours later everything's fine, but nothing ever gets fixed. And you hit the nail on the head with like the tools in therapy, because we talk about therapy a lot. And when people come to us with these questions, we say, go to therapy. And what's cool about therapy in 2022 is, let's say that you're very busy business owners with 3 little kids like us, you can do therapy on Zoom with somebody. Let's say you work with your wife, and like that is the big thing that's like coming to a head, is like the work, life, whatever balance. Set out an hour for each of you where you don't take any other phone calls, you shut the door to your office, and you guys do a Zoom therapy session. Because therapy is not what it's portrayed on TV. It's not crying and screaming and how does that make you feel?
And it's not either of you are fucked up or need to be fixed.
No.
It's just
it's tools.
You need to learn how to communicate better.
Like wouldn't you want to improve your...
And this question is powerful. Like I said, I like this question. I just don't like it as much as I thought. Because it's not just not taking it to work. It's just you'll accomplish so much more if you guys are aligned, you know, and you guys are pushing together towards some kind of success or whatever it is. Like all the times where I've been like, I've just got to shut off that the situation's happening at home so I can focus and hammer. I still am not half the person I am when that's just figured out. So I think the answer is, again, whatever you can do to get the tools to figure it out. Being honest with this conversation, like our relationship has been a lot better. It got a lot better from a darker time. But even from starting, how long ago did I start Lions Den?
I don't know.
Like 5 months ago? Or how long ago did I get in that? I can't remember, 6 months ago?
Probably.
Even that time, our relationship was much better then. Would you say our relationships got much better again since then?
Yes, I mean, we're in the best, most aligned place, and it's not
I just needed to make sure that you're 100% in agreement for the conversation's sake. Like, so that first tool being therapy, in and out of therapy a little bit, like to get the tools to talk and to understand why you react the way you react, to understand why I react the way I react, and then
to have some conversation diffusers in those moments where we're able to refocus the conversation instead of blowing up or shutting down. We each were there to learn tools together.
Because we're being our inner child or whatever, you know, we're reacting the way we reacted when we were a little kid.
And it's also true when you get into it that deep, but at the shallow level, it's like, when you have that tool to like refocus and realign, it's just honestly like a deep breath for you and your relationship. And
it's much easier to refocus and realign. Like I know I'm digging deep into this when you understand why your person reacts the way they react. Okay, she reacts the way she reacts because, or he reacts the way they react because of their upbringing, and I've listened to someone connect the dots through asking intriguing questions about the situations and aligning why they respond to their life. It just brings a lot to your ability to communicate. But then all of that to realizing that I need to actively be, I still wasn't actively working on my relationship. I feel like that's one thing, over the past 6 months that, I have a few little things that I want to do every day or weekly. And like that started the trend of me wanting to read the book about love language, the 5 love languages, and understand how, like, where and why and like what you actually need to fill your cup. And there's so much of this work you can do. We work so fucking hard to try to be there so you can be focusing on your business, then you don't work on your marriage at all. It's like, when on the flip side, that's what's so crazy. And I'm getting on these tangents about, like, you ask somebody, a business owner, when they do 75 hard, like, how well did your business do during 75 hard? And it magically, their business did better than almost, like, best quarter, best this, best whatever. Like, the same thing happens. Like, yeah, you don't think you have time to focus on your marriage and learn these things or pour time into this. But if you did, your business would, again, do better. Like, it's
yeah, it's
such...
like, I want to know the secret. How do you grow fast? How do you do this? How do you be so successful?
Well, you focus on your marriage.
That can be that.
And then you
simple.
focus on your health.
And yourself.
And you focus on yourself. And then it allows you to go fucking laser focused and laser, like, accurate and be so quick with the things you're doing, because your foundation and what you're built is solid. And you don't have to worry about, oh man, I fucked up again and the wife is pissed off at me, or the wife doesn't understand this, or the husband doesn't understand this, or feeling guilty about, I really should lose a few pounds. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just go and fucking attack your shit and you kill it.